edition of our rebranded show, Inside the Rise Agenda. Good morning and welcome. My name is Samuel Ayara, and I'm not alone. I'm joined by a twosome. One will be a regular voice you will get to be hearing going forward, and the other, our guest. But just to let you know that we are bringing new perspectives to the show, conscious that across time, age, and race, the need to know never changes. So also with the right to be properly informed, because we commit more than a passing passion to that. In delivering on our commitment to ensuring every detail of the Arise agenda and the strides of Governor Uwem administration gets to the citizenry, we going forward will be serving you this new series titled Inside the Arise Agenda. Of course, you know that this show is sponsored by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Ekerete Udo. On Inside the Rise Agenda would be the 9 FM from 10 to so tune. You can also tune to AKBC Radio 90.5 FM Tuesday 4 to 5 p.m. to follow us there. Then it airs on Thursdays 4 to 5 p.m. on AKBC Television. And then the happy hour edition of Inside the Rise Agenda airs 5 p.m. on Mix 88.7 FM. It is a beautiful time to bring on my co-host on Inside the Rise Agenda. He is the big man in the show and a huge part of what going forward would be doing. This special assistant to the governor on electronic media is my Oga Charles Akwa. You welcome to this premiere edition of your program, the Inside the Rise Agenda.
Samuel. Thank you for bringing me up here. And good morning, the people of Akwa and the environs and by extension for Ibom State. Thank you for having me here. And we're going to have exciting moments going forward.
Okay, we will be beginning the show with the Arise Agenda update, and we will want to have you know what is happening today. It is new, so it has to be current. It is new, so it has to be what is happening just about and what's going to happen in few hours from now. And that's bringing to your notice that the Akwa State Governor, Pastor Romano, will today commence a series of pivotal events aimed at strengthening the state's infrastructural assets in Oron Federal Constituency. Programs scheduled for the day include the flag-off ceremonies for the dualization of the 13.5 kilometer of Kobedi Oron Road by East-West Road, Phase 2 at Akwa Local Government This bill, according to the governor, when considered and passed into law, will energize the government's penetration in the market system with bulk purchases and would bring food prices to the reach of the citizenry in line with the administration's food sufficiency initiative. To discuss on the merit and workability of the governor's price control idea, inside the Arise agenda this morning is joined by no less a fellow than one who understands the workings of the agriculture of the food value chain. He is from the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Uyo, Dr. Clement Uwem. You're welcome to Inside the Arise agenda.
Thank you, Samuel, and good morning to our listeners.
As I earlier stated, my co-host is also on this show, Charles Akwa. We will be doing this together, and I'm sure our guest, Dr. Clement Uwem, is a fit bill for this conversation. So we'll get straight into the conversation. But before then, there is an insight. We need Akwa Ibom people to hear from the governor straight and what he intended when he asked when he talked about setting up this new agency.
We are sending the bill for Akwa Ibom bulk purchase and supply agency so that we can begin to bulk purchase food, send them through the market system, and stabilize the price of food. So we thank you. Every day I promise I will serve Akwa Ibom State from the bottom of my heart. And I'll do everything to continue to thank God.
Okay, that's the governor reaffirming his commitment to serving the state. He said he will serve the state with the best of his abilities. And here we are wanting to probing into how well the bulk purchase agency will serve Akwa Ibom State. And like I had earlier introduced, we have with us Dr. Clement Uwem of the University of Uyo Faculty of Agriculture. Doctor.
Yes, Samuel, thank you very much. Let me join to also congratulate Akwa Ibom State for having a governor that is so desired for through prayers and commitment in terms of bringing on board. I think it's also a victory for everyone. And talking about the agency that the governor has muted, I see it as one of the pragmatic steps to improve the well-being of the people. When I look at the programs of government, I look at the sustainable development goals, I see the alignment. One of the first two goals of the sustainable development goal of the United Nations talks about no hunger or zero hunger, and also talk about zero poverty. And so, you see, the governor is using a private sector approach. And when you look at his background as a businessman, you know, businesses that are efficient are the business that make profits. And so this agency is a very welcome development, given the food inflation that is rising, and Akwa Ibom is not spared from the national inflation that is affecting everyone. So what we need to do now as a people is to give the support that is needed from all stakeholders, and also see what the content of these bills will be. The House of Assembly should pass whatever laws they have at their disposal with a view to review it within a very short time. Because by the time we start operating the law, we're going to see things that need adjustment. Let me take a look at some of the things the government intended to do. One is to stem the skyrocketing prices of food items. Samuel, let me tell you something. There's what we call farm gate price, the price the producer sells food item. More or less what you buy at the gate of the farm. Now, the prices you have in the market is an arbitrary increase by middlemen and market unions. So what the government that caused the vehicle to swerve off the road, and they had an accident, and 3 people died on the spot. So this method of collecting tolls from food, there must be a collaboration between 2 states, and proper collection should be done, because some of these collections never ever get to the coffers of government, and yet it looks as if government is behind it. So there must be an interstate collaboration between Akwa Ibom and states that we need to get bulk purchases to make up for our deficit, so that the prices will stabilize.
So there is an agenda, there's a collaboration between the states and the federal government. That's about
No, there must be
there's a
interstate.
speaker that is
There must be an interstate collaboration,
okay.
where there is an harmonization of how tolls on agricultural produce are being collected, so that you don't have a regime that is more humane. Not people on the road, every local government will find people. These are part of what increases the cost of food items across the nation. So states need to collaborate, because it is time to now protect the citizen. The citizens' welfare, food is one of them. There's even a professor that's trying to pursue food rights in the National Assembly.
Prices of foodstuffs are being controlled by the market forces, just like you read products in the market.
There is a third invisible market force arm, which is arbitrarily increased by market unions, which now gives you prices that does not reflect the cost of production or the marketing cost.
If, for instance, when the agency is set up and the representatives start buying in bulk, purchasing in bulk, when they come in, do you think competitors are going to sit down quietly and allow the state run the costs just like that?
This is why it's going to be an agency that is set up by an act of parliament. Recall some years ago, there was a time marketers of petroleum were monopolists in the field. And there was a general group managing director of NNPC by name Jackson Obaseki.
Yeah.
He was the one that started building mega station. What was the essence? To break the monopoly of independent marketers. Whether you believe it or not, it worked. It worked. So this bulk purchase is going to let us know the real prices of goods, food items in the market, and what looks like inflationary prices that are being put in by people who may be selfish. Look, I just told you that they want to use it. They buy in bulk, deny people access to the food, and use the hoarding to hike the prices. Because all what they need to do is a case of demand and supply. Make the supply difficult. Then whatever price you offer, people will be compelled to buy.
Now, when I reached out to you yesterday, in the course of discussion, you mentioned something about price control board. Is it not a replication of duty? If some people in some quarters will think this plan by His Excellency appears to be a replication of duties of the price control board.
Yes, because in the 60s and 70s, we read that there used to be commodity boards. These boards, among its duties were regulate prices, regulate supply, regulate quality, and all of that. And it failed. It didn't work out then. So, what magic, in your wisdom, do you think Governor Romano would be stirring to make this work?
First of all, the House of Assembly is involved. This discussion will continue, and like I said, the agency will be transparent enough to make their activities known to everyone. By the time everybody knows what is going on, it will not be difficult. It will not be difficult. Now, desperate disease need desperate cure. So, hunger is a serious problem. Can I remind you that when children don't have enough protein when they are growing, that they are going to have brains that are not well developed?
You don't need to remind me, because a crate of egg goes for 3,100.
Yeah. So part of the third leg of this agency is to boost local production. And if I'm to contribute, I would say that this agency should identify egg producers in Akwa State and try to ensure that they are linked to credit to help them write on their farms, not the one you sit in the office and write names. It is now high time that government agencies that are relevant to this activity go to farmers. Sir, how many layers do you have? I have 100 layers. What's your major problem? Challenge. Feed. So if we give you feed at this, can we get at this? Yes, it becomes a deal. You sign an MOU and the supply start coming. Because sometimes the farmer is willing to produce, the cost of feed is too high. He does not even have the available credit to get the feed. And so when he finally does, from any source he gets his credit, you can be sure that your guess is as good as mine when it comes to the price is going to fix. It will fix the price arbitrarily. But the moment government comes in, the understanding is, oh, government is really interested in what I'm doing. And so I'm not going to go outside a certain price regime. The activity will help us have a lower and upper limit. I'm not trying to say we should completely regulate the capitalist system, but we should also do a welfare state where government have some level of control until maybe if the system can on its own. Because people don't just fix prices because of the cost. They fix according to their needs, over and above what is reasonable.
There is this popular saying that government has no business in business. Why should government even think of helping out at this time?
Now, if you go by the fact that government is to cater for the welfare of the people, then you realize that there are certain regulations that government need to put itself until it works. Government has a lot to do with business. Recall that when Obama came to power, companies had gone down. What did he do? He did what we now got to know to be called bailouts. And in 2 years, all those monies were paid back to the government, and the economy was able to pick it up. So now, agriculture, as you know, high risk, highly volatile, That's all yes, on your Facebook. I've got a print. Even did it. Even did it. There are many ways to plant these things in the urban area. Oburon can take para cement. When both talk and don't buy Tom one. It if we make it enough, minimum boundary so enough. You have been and I'm exercise. I don't know now. I'm not getting it up with you. I'm not getting it up with you. I'm not going to forget to talk more. Take it, make anything. This one, but not this one, but so much to learn. There are technologies that have evolved that people can reduce the food inflation. I think into the fact that government, you have to friend from what I can tell you. Can you put me thing in a rock in the you work at Kayuba? That will book some idea that you get on me. A couple for a good off you. I've already on my new you already done. If I will. You don't the more possible development, so I don't come. Development, women fully can know, book you get me. I tell you about it.
That's fine. That's fine. It's still inside the Rise Agenda on Premium 89.9 FM. And my guest is Dr. Clement Uwem of the University of Uyo Faculty of Agriculture. On Inside the Rise Agenda today, we are looking at the merit and workability of Governor Romano's price control idea. And recall that the governor has concluded plans to send a bill to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. The bill is titled "A Bill for the Establishment of the Akwa Ibom Bulk Purchase and Supply Agency." And this bill, when considered and passed into law, will energize the government penetration into the market system with bulk purchases that would bring food prices to the reach of the citizenry in line with the administration's food sufficiency initiative. This much is why we are on Inside the Rice Agenda, looking at the merits and demerits of this very initiative of government. And back to my guest, Dr. Clement Uwem. There is this understanding that you see, when we talk about cultivating, when we talk about people being in business, you've talked about what determines price control, the price control regime, but you've not mentioned the arbitrary increase and then instability with exchange rates. For example, if I'm selling yam and I have needs to procure some other item, there is a school of thought that doesn't allow me just dispose of my yam because I don't want to make arbitrary gains. I don't want to triple my markup price because I feel like when I sell this yam at a minimal profit level, the money may not be enough to have me purchase some other item. For example, I need to sell yam to buy a shirt. And I used to know maybe a shirt used to go for 5,000 naira, and all of a sudden, getting a shirt now gets as high and as much as 20,000 naira, and I'm supposed to sell my yams, and from the profits they go to buy shirts. So the school of thought avails that you sell your yam for as much the amount you need to buy the next item. How do we balance this out in the long run?
Thank you very much. We still cannot run away from the issue of exchange rates. I know what you're talking about was the price of inputs, farm inputs. They are very, very high. This is why agencies of this nature should work with all stakeholders. That's why I love the third part of the governor's proposition.
No, Nigeria is not scattered. Nigeria is not scattered.
and cannot be scattered.
Okay, you have Governor Umano, who is committed to ensuring you no longer bear those costs. So all thanks to His Excellency the Governor, who is committed to ensuring that. So back to Dr.
Yes.
Uwem.
I want to let me encourage the last speaker that Nigeria has never been scattered and will never be scattered. Not after we have taken the silver medal that the African Cup of Nations. Yes. So a scattered nation cannot win a silver medal. Now back to, let me advise Mr. Morgan very well. Let me appreciate the appointment of the government for social inclusiveness, and which has to be continuously done so. Mr. Morgan, if you are still listening to me, let me come down to our language. More than anybody, you will bet care itara you for dog, and you run on and never wrong. Actually, when you fertilizer, I'm going to government here, I didn't follow you some million, mingo million to you. I say for me, take you, looking as a better one to who carry it. Ben boss of the adult, but the way you, who run it, Ben itara you for the ask, back to our discussion side. You see, the issue of boosting local production, government has been doing it. We need inter-ministerial collaboration to be stronger. The Ministry of Trade should stand up and see what can be done to help. We need to also continuously see how we can increase our local production of staple. Because the government was talking about trying to make sure we buy and supply in bulk staple food. And we know what they are. Most of the time, you see certain things that used to come from the north. One of our students can boast of producing up to 15 bags of 50 kilograms of cucumber in a day. So we have broken the genes. It can be talk cucumber pipe. It's not talk cucumber pipe. Watermelon, anything good is going on. One of our students who is with the Private State Youth for Food and Agriculture and Sufficiency. I went to Ntarinya. I saw a massive land where watermelon was harvested, and he told me it was up to a lorry load.
Some bucket cabbage,
Good. So there's increase in knowledge of improved variety, improved means of agricultural activities. So how do we take the number of how do we strengthen our extension agents? We go to village extension agents. Mondo they come if you're to one. They might combine with private people who are doing extension services. And then those are some more. So government can also come in to assist. When there's a given technology, you have to make sure it is being spread for farmers to use.
Okay, so from our Facebook page, we have Nathan Udoya. Nathan says it is a nice move, but the workability may not be possible based on the economy of the country now. And he is just a state governor, unless our governor is thinking of not just to buy in bulk, but also to subsidize fuel in the state, which I think is a key factor that determines the price of all other commodities. The fact remains that he can't purchase all the commodities produced in the state, not all coming into the state. His good idea and effort towards this may create another market problem in the state. I suggest it should not be done in a haste, as a committee made up of agricultural experts and economists should be set up, and also a synergy should be built between Akwa Ibom State and Benue State government based on agricultural value chain. Then that's from Nathan Udoya.
Yes, if I heard the governor's speech very well, he said prices of staple food. So it can't be all. There are food that we consume almost on a daily basis, and they form our menu. So that is what he's trying to tackle. And you'll agree with me that for every food item, there are likely close substitutes. There are things that can go for the other. But let me also make a point. We can also plant beans massively in our farm. All we need to do is to get the right variety and encourage farmers have an outgrower scheme, and we never know what we can get out of it. So I love his advice that should not be done in the haste. Of course, by the time it's subjected to our distinguished House of Assembly, you can be sure that serious in-depth activities will be done, and people will be invited. Those experts we even need to invite are common farmers like us.
During the public hearing?
At every stage, because the public hearing may be a few days, you may miss out some important things. So the House of Assembly should commit for resources and send people to go to the farms if need be and collect primary data and use it to do the law that they're going to do. It will go a long way to helping us. So one major set of people that should be reached in one of the phases of this plan should be the farmer, the peasant farmer in the rural areas, the middle level farmers that have farms,